All right, welcome back. So now we're going to be building onto our Zapier knowledge, and we're going to continue on with making new Zaps. So we'll head over to the Zaps tab on Zapier, and let's click on Create, and let's do New Zap. And of course, if you have any folders or you want to organize, feel free to make some folders, but I'm going to leave this as messy as can be, I guess. All right, so let's ignore Copilot for now. Looks like I can't exit out, is what it is. Let's click on Trigger here. And let's select an application. Let's say whenever we get a new email, let's do something where any new email, we will automatically add that attachment over to our Google Drive. So let's click on our trigger event, and let's say triggers when a new email appears in the specified mailbox. Perfect. We'll say new email as the trigger event. I've already got my account linked here, but if you're following along, feel free to add your Gmail account here. Let's click on continue, and I'm gonna grab my mailbox. I'm gonna say the inbox mailbox is fine. So this is the mailbox that it's monitoring. So whenever someone sends an email, it will appear in my inbox mailbox, and that is what will trigger my flow. So if you're in a workplace environment and maybe you have tickets that go to one mailbox, maybe you want to have an automation that maybe whenever a ticket is submitted to that mailbox that receives the tickets, maybe you want to then go ahead and do some type of action. So feel free to monitor different mailbox, but for me, I'm just going to grab from inbox. I'm going to test this to make sure it can grab my emails, and then we will pull one of these examples. I just sent myself an email from another account or another Gmail account. So it does look like this is the correct one. So I'm going to click on continue with selected record. And now we're going to go ahead and place an action. So let's go and click Google Drive. All right, so now in my Google Drive, we will hit our action event here, and we'll do let's do upload file. So whenever a email is sent to us from any end user, we're not specifying if it's from certain users. We're just saying if any email is being sent to us, to automatically go and upload this file into our Google Drive. So obviously this is not the safest thing you could possibly do, because people could send you whatever. Maybe this would be, an internal setting, but I would of course add some kind of filters to say what type of attachments you are allowing to be added. Otherwise, anyone could email you anything, or anything at all with an attachment could be sent to your drive, and that would just be messy and potentially dangerous depending on the types of files that get sent. So let's go over and select our Google Drive. I'm going to say my Google Drive, and I have a folder here called invoice. So I'm going to say invoices, and now I have my files option here. So this is where I have to grab the attachments. So again, to grab dynamic data, we're going to click our / and I'm going to click on all attachments. So every attachment that is included in this email, I'm going to grab that and upload it over to my Google Drive. So convert to document. If yes, we will tell Google to convert this into an editable document. Okay, that should be fine. Might as well just convert to document. File name. Do we want to specify a file name here? By default, we use the same name and extension as the original file. But if we wanted to, we could set the name. So we could say new file, and then we could also have an extension where we could specify if we want this to be like a PowerPoint extension, a doc, a PDF. Let's just do PDF. And again, depending on the file, this could break it. So if someone sends a PowerPoint over and I convert it to a PDF, obviously that's not the intended use case, but whatever, we'll leave the file name as new file and the file extension as PDF. And of course, if this was a real world situation, you would most likely have to add some type of custom logic to avoid overwriting. And I believe in Google Drive, it's not going to overwrite. It's just going to continue adding these different files that seem to have the same name. But for the use cases of this test, it doesn't really matter. So let's test our step, and we're going to go view our Google Drive to view if the file successfully was sent. So it says it was, so let's go check it out. All right, so I am over in my Google Drive now, and I can see we have a new file here uploaded to invoices called new file. So let me double click on that, and let's see what it looks like. All right, so clicking on this file, it looks like it's just a blank text documents with the word test on it. I am a little interested in knowing why that's sent over as an editable document. Let me go back and go back to configure. I think let's not convert to documents. And let me leave as this file extension. So it can only be used if you also specify a file name. Do not include the dot in front of the extension. So this should be correct. Let me continue and retest that last step. Now I know I'm sending myself a text document, but I am curious if this is actually able to convert it to a PDF. All right, so now that we've tested, let's head over to invoices and we can see that this is now a PDF. So that's exactly what we wanted. Let's head back to our Zap and we can see that after I disabled convert to document, that fixed that issue. And of course, reading this earlier should have been the clue. If yes, convert to document, we will tell Google to convert this into an editable document. So obviously having that selected as true is what caused the issue. So let's close out of that. And I'm actually not going to publish this just because I don't want to forget and then have people email me attachments that get sent to a drive. So if you want, you could publish this. And again, let's just continue on. Let's continue making more zaps. And over time, as we make more and more and start to complicate the workflow a bit, we'll start to get very familiar with how we can automate some simple things in life. All right, so I'll see you in the next video.